Well, Steffen, thanks so much for joining us on this St. Patrick's Day. Can you see my tie? This is a tie I've had for umpteen years. By the way, I have probably over 300 ties. Don't wear them very often, but this one right here is green, has little shamrocks on it, and I used to wear this every St. Patrick's Day on TV. So millions of people have probably seen that over all the years that I happen to show that here. But it is St. Patrick's Day, and we have a pretty nice day for all your outdoor activities today. A lot of sunshine expected. Certainly nothing like what we had over the weekend. Take a look at this. Tornado damage, Pike County, Indiana. This is an image from the National Weather Service damage survey. And as you can see, there wasn't much left here. This tornado was an EF1. The damage surveys were out trying to take a look at some of the tornado damage, but it will be a while before all of that is posted online. So let's take a look at some of the details here from this severe weather event that lasted 3 days, the 14th, 15th, and 16th. The picture there is damage in Vienna, Illinois from the National Weather Service team that surveyed damage there. 1,454 reports of severe weather. That's a lot. And in 29 states, there were 87 tornadoes. Those are reports of tornadoes. That number will actually kind of be whittled down a little bit because some of the reports are of the same tornado from two different observers. So again, that's a pretty healthy total one nonetheless. 307 reports of severe hail. That's 1 inch in diameter or greater. And 1,010 reports of wind damage. In fact, there was quite a bit of wind damage in the Chicago area with 55 to 65 mile an hour winds pretty much across the city there. So let's take a look at some of the severe weather reports across the area. This is what we got for Friday. And every blue dot is a report of wind damage. Every red dot is a tornado report, and every green dot is a severe hail report. And you can see it was widespread across Iowa, into Missouri, into Illinois, came through Chicago and Milwaukee. And then the main thing for us was timing. We missed it because the temperature cools off at night. The air's not quite as unstable as it is during the afternoon and evening. So again, you can see all the storms down in Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, but not here. And Lake Michigan, of course, sometimes protects us, but with a southeast wind, we probably wouldn't have had much protection from the lake here this time. Lake, though, is pretty cold, and with the southeast wind, sure didn't help Chicago and Milwaukee as they got that heavy weather coming in from the west as well. All right, let's take a look at Saturday then. This is the severe weather that shifted down toward your neck of the woods, Michelle. Tornadoes, wind reports, severe weather there. There were over 24 fatalities blamed on the storm. Some were tornadoes, some were wind damage, some were traffic accidents caused by blowing dust and dirt. I passed one accident on M44 near Silver Lake in Kent County, where a tree that looked like it was partially rotted fell across the road and a car ran into that. So that's a danger that we have in a situation like this. Let's take a look at Sunday. Hey, look at all the severe weather that was just off to our east. Look at all those blue dots, western New York, western Pennsylvania, eastern Ohio. They had a report of an 89 mile an hour wind gust at the airport at Latrobe, Pennsylvania. And that's almost to the point where you reach 90 miles an hour where winds can flip a small plane over. So that was a big severe weather day. But again, that kind of circled all around us here, west of us, south of us, and then east of us here Sunday afternoon. No severe weather expected here today across the country. For Tuesday, there's a marginal or just a level 1 outlook area, and that's for extreme southeast Nebraska and up into Iowa. Main threat there would be isolated wind damage, maybe a tree or power line down, nothing real major is expected here over the next 3 days or so. Well, we got a lot to talk about, some interesting weather ahead for us the rest of the week. We'll tell you more about that after we thank our sponsors.
Need a fast, efficient, and affordable cleaning service? Complete Care Concierge has you covered. Serving all of West Michigan, we offer one-time, daily, weekly, and bi-weekly cleans, plus move in, move out. We also service apartment hallways and laundry rooms. Our work is guaranteed, gift cards are available, and we even clean on weekends. There's no better way to say I love you than giving a tired mom a break from dishes and laundry. Are you a busy professional? Pamper yourself by taking vacuuming and dusting off your plate. Office manager, keep your business looking and feeling its very best. Call 616-264-1397 today for a spotless space and total peace of mind.
When your home needs help, you might not know where to start. Why not ask Ace? We're always here to help with Ace Handyman Services. Our talented craftsmen handle everything from drywall and carpentry to doors and kitchens. We're the neighbors you trust to get the job done right. Let's get started. Book your handyman appointment today. Ace Handyman Services, bringing helpful to your home.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Sounds good. Well, Michelle, we've got a lot to talk about here over the next several days weather-wise. And we'll start you out with a look at our headlines. Mostly sunny skies expected today, and anywhere from partly to mostly sunny here during the day tomorrow. May not be quite as sunny as Monday, but a couple of pretty nice days back-to-back here. Rain showers are expected here during the day on Wednesday. That's a pretty sure thing here. So if you're planning some outdoor activities, Monday and Tuesday look good. Wednesday, not so good to be outdoors. Warming trend is expected. Temperatures up in the upper 40s later on today. We should reach the low to mid 60s here Tuesday and on Wednesday. And colder weather comes into the picture here on Thursday, when once again we'll have rain changing to snow. Thursday could turn out a lot like Sunday was here, with some snow perhaps developing during the afternoon. And take a look at this. This is the snow forecast for the next 72 hours. Again, concentrated in the western U.S., where they continue to get pounded by the west wind, bringing that atmospheric river with heavier rains and mountain snows, cascades, the Sierra Nevada mountains, the mountains of Idaho, down into the Yellowstone National Park area here. And look at the snow up toward upper Michigan again. That's not here, though we could get a few flakes here again during the day on Thursday. But look at the snow that's falling, or going to be falling here. This is predominantly Wednesday from northern Wisconsin up into the UP. That yellow indicates 6 inches. The orangish area there is 8 inches. And if you look at the scale there, that deep orange to the west of Marquette there they're expecting a foot of new snow. It's just keeps coming in the UP. Some places up there have already had over 250 inches of snow this winter. I think I saw, who was it? Somebody up there had 20 inches of snow on the ground this morning up in the UP. I think that was perhaps south of Munising, where somebody reported that. So we are missing out on that. We will see the sunshine today, 48 degrees, 23 degrees, the low temperature here during the early morning. Winds be out of the south, 10 miles an hour in the morning. They could kick up to around 15 to 20 in the afternoon, so we'll get a little breezy during the afternoon hours. And the humidity starts out at around 75%, but should fall to about 45% or so during the afternoon. Here's a look at some of the temperatures, the high temperatures over the next several days. This is today, mid to upper 40s across the area, warmer air off to the west of us. We move ahead to Tuesday, and we'll show you that the temperatures here should be back up into at least the low 60s during the afternoon, maybe a touch cooler over toward Lake Michigan. And Wednesday should be a warm day in the rain. We should still see temperatures in the low to mid 60s here. But look at the colder air that was up there toward the UP and Wisconsin. The 5-day forecast looks like this. Sunny skies Monday, Tuesday, partly to mostly sunny. Clouds with rain on Wednesday. The rain may change to a little wet snow before ending on Thursday, but not much here. But again, if you're going to the UP, Wednesday and a Thursday, there could be some travel conditions up there that might warrant your attention. Clouds clear out and give us a pretty nice day here during the day on Friday. Latest long-range outlook keeps our temperatures a touch below average toward the end of the month, but keep in mind that average is up to 50 by the end of the month. So for just a touch below average, we're still in the mid to upper 40s here. So the worst of winter looks like it has passed. Rain-wise, we've had a lot of wet weather in these 8 to 14 day outlooks, but in terms of rainfall across the area here, the rainfall outlook calling for, well, if we can move along and see that perhaps, there we go. Rain shower activity here slightly above average, but actually pretty close to average around here. Well, we got a lot to talk about, including this great picture. Take a look at this again. Michelle, you're going to tell me more about this and how you got to use this picture here on the blog.
You know, the best thing you could say is that the worst of winter is over.
Yes.
And then it's all in front of you. My favorite part of summer is the very beginning.
Yes, it really is. I mean, and we don't want it to warm up too fast. We don't want the blossoms to come out too soon or the severe weather to come up here into Michigan. The severe weather, though, has been off to our south, and they got nailed in St. Louis the other day.
They did. Let's take a look. So we've got the photo.
What do you see there, everybody? Take a look at it and see what you're looking at.
I see an airplane flying in front of a tornado.
Yes, that is actually a tornado coming down. I don't know if I can tell on a straight shot if that's on. I would assume that's on the ground. There was some significant damage in the St. Louis area, and right after that picture was taken, they had a ground stop issued for St. Louis.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah, everything shut down for a while, but I think the St. Louis airport had a gust of 66 miles an hour.
Wow. Yeah. So Mason Pepper, from what I can tell, he's an employee that works at the airport, and that's how he was able to get this photo. He's in one of my aviation employee Facebook groups.
Oh, wow.
So that's how we got permission to use the photo on the show. And yeah, I wonder, like, which flight was it? Were the people that were in the plane, do they know that it was their plane? Do they know that this happened? And that
Probably not.
right, were they close? How close were they? Because it looks close, but maybe it wasn't.
Yeah. We did not get any of the real super big EF4, EF5 tornadoes over the weekend, but there were quite a few EF0, EF1s, a few EF2s. I know there was at least one high-end EF3. I think that was a Cave City, Kentucky, with 165 mile an hour winds there.
Wow.
And no EF4s or EF5s.
So
Well,
there's this.
I figured you'd bring this up.
We're not unhappy. We're happy for the rest of you.
Yes,
But
and Wisconsin was my alma mater, and that's why I bring this up sometimes. But Wisconsin was ahead by 11 points at one point in the game, and it all
I watched the game. It was an exciting game for sure.
a lot of missed 3-point shots.
Yeah, it seemed like Wisconsin lost their mojo for rebounding in the second half, and Michigan started hitting those threes, and there we are.
Well, congratulations to Michigan, Michigan State, Wisconsin, and I believe Maryland. I think all 4 of those teams overachieved this year.
And we're not done. The NCAA tournament is next, with Michigan, Michigan State, and Wisconsin all making appearances.
And Wisconsin was in the rated number 3, and I thought Michigan State was number 5, and I didn't understand that. I thought Michigan State was 2, and Michigan was 5, and I couldn't understand that. I thought Michigan and Wisconsin were pretty comparable. Should have been at the
We'll
same.
see how they do. We do a family bracket challenge every year, so we'll have to get that going.
Yeah, well, wish them the best.
All right, and St. Patrick's Day tomorrow. Who was St. Patrick? He was a missionary to Ireland in the 5th century. He originally was enslaved in Ireland and then later returned to do mission work there. And he is credited with bringing Christianity to Ireland.
Yes, indeed. And I tell you what, this is an interesting day. You have been to Ireland. I have not.
Well, we'll have to put that on your list.
Yes, true.
It's beautiful. The color is green for a reason. It's a beautiful place.
It is. I can show you satellite pictures. There's one satellite picture where there is snow on the ground all across Ireland. It's very rare to have snow across the entire country, but it's so weird because even in the wintertime, it's green. Dublin, by the way, only has about a 20-degree temperature difference between winter and summer. A typical day in January in Dublin will have high temperatures in the mid to upper 40s, and a typical day in July will have high temperatures in the mid to upper 60s. So only about 20 degrees difference.
That sounds delightful.
You don't find
actually.
very many sleds, and you don't find very many swimming pools in Ireland.
All right, so March 17, it started off the feast day for St. Patrick, and it turned into what we know and love in the United States today.
Did we ever celebrate anything like that in our family, St. Patrick's Day or anything? I wore my green tie, and for a while I had a green jacket to match it. I kind of outgrew that a little bit here, but yeah, that was fun. And my mother would always make corned beef and cabbage and potatoes and a whole Irish meal. I really look forward to that. It was really good.
No, the first time I remember celebrating St. Patrick's Day was in law school. There was stuff going on a walking distance from me, so I walked down to it and I don't know, did the goings on. It was fun.
Mhm.
Okay, so the Chicago, Illinois dyes the river green. We all know. So here's your question. In what year did Chicago first dye the river green? And Dad is a native of the north side of Chicago. So
I was
based
born in
on personal
Evanston, which is the
experience-
next suburb north of Chicago. It's got
Yes.
20-story buildings in it, so it's like a part of Chicago.
So, and to give
Right.
you a hint, this was in Little Bill's lifetime. So
Yes,
based on
and,
your-
and I remember this when I was at least in high school, if not before. So I would guess the late 1950s, maybe.
Very close. Very good.
Too okay, yeah.
1862. And do you know why that started happening? Like, how did that develop as a tradition?
I knew this once. I really did. Was it a boy? I don't know. I give up. What?
And I'll give you a hint because I like this answer because I am a proud member of the CWA union at my work. So it was a Chicago's plumbers union.
The plumbers union, huh?
They realized that, so they used a green dye to detect plumbing leaks in their work. And someone went, wow, that's a bright shade of green. It's the exact right color for St. Patrick's Day. And then since the dye was environmentally friendly, it's vegetable based. They thought, you know what would be fun? Let's dump it in the river and swish it all around. So they worked with the city to make that happen. And it's still the plumbing union that does the dyeing every year.
Oh, no kidding.
So
Well, that's interesting.
yeah.
I would imagine there were probably a couple of St. Patrick's Days where there was ice floating down the river. They'd have a hard time getting a boat in there.
Yeah. So there's my pitch for unions: safety, equality, and dyeing the Chicago River green.
Dyeing the Chicago River
Do
green.
it all.
Is that done anywhere else? I mean, I know in Ireland, St. Patrick's Day is kind of like a holy day where you go to church and, you know, it's not that you sit around and drink green beer all day.
Yes, it is more of a party holiday in the U.S. than it is in other places, including Ireland.
And I salute out to Conklin because for many years, I don't know that they're still doing it, but for many years they had the 5-minute Irish parade on St. Patrick's Day in the town of Conklin, which is in northeast Ottawa County. And the parade would start, and then it would go down about half a block, and then it would turn into the local bar there, and everyone would have corned beef, cabbage, and a beer.
Oh, another one.
Finish the parade.
Something else that I looked up for this one was what % of Michigan is Irish, of Michigan residents?
Oh,
10%.
10%. Wow.
So, of course, you got to put that into context. So by what % is Dutch? About 5. But then, of course, that's going to be concentrated in West Michigan.
Yeah, and the Dutch settled around the Holland area too, and then came up into the Grand Rapids area a little bit here. But when I first came to Grand Rapids, it was interesting because I looked at I said, I'm talking to my audience. Who is my audience? And I think if I remember right, it was 27% Catholic, 9% Reformed, and 9% Christian Reformed. So we're this was this big Christian Reformed community and everything.
Sounds about right for the demographics of the Midwest. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it was very interesting, but you have to kind of know your audience, who you're talking to there. 62, I'll have to remember that. So I would have been, let's see, 62. I was born in 51, but not until May, so that would have made me 10 years old. Interesting. It was a big story on the news.
Mm-hmm,
Everybody stopped what they were doing to look at the TV and to see the Green River.
So was it controversial?
I don't think so at the time. Everybody thought it was kind of a novelty. Remember, we've gone through depressions and world wars and everything.
Right.
Dyeing a river green wasn't really high on the list of
things to get upset about.
Yeah.
Are there fish in that river?
Oh, sure. I don't know how, what kind or how many, but yeah, there's fish there. I've seen people fishing there in the river. And they don't take very much water out of Lake Michigan. There's always talk when there's a drought about why is Chicago taking some of the water out of Lake Michigan and running it down the Chicago River. It's just literally a drop in the bucket compared to all the water that's in Lake Michigan. It really has very little effect.
So speaking of fishing, and this is way off topic, am I correct that I remember as a child, Mom going fishing with Peter Chan's dad?
Yes, and an African-American gentleman by the name of Jumbo. And the three of them would be laughing and making so much noise in the lake. I couldn't imagine that there'd be a fish within the same zip code. But
I
they would
remember
just
her coming home
I
with-
didn't want to go out because I get cold easy, and I can buy that fish at Myers or Sam's Club or something. And I mean, I'll go fishing in the summertime, but when it's 10 above out, then you have to auger through a foot of ice. I'll let my wife do that.
Well, Mom had fun and she was good at it. She came home with fish.
Oh, she did. Did you remember in the tub down in the
I
basement?
watched her clean them. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
My wife loved bluegill especially. So
I just wanted to make sure that was a real story I remembered and not something I made up. But
yeah. And I remember my wife going with a bunch of ladies ice fishing up at White Lake in the Whitehall Montague area. So yeah, that was good. She my wife Gail not only fishes, but she can tie her own flies and do fly fishing, and she does ice fishing. So you're a master angler. So so look at me. I'm a nothing, everybody.
The master angler thing was like beyond a fluke.
Mm-hmm.
Like even a broken clock is right twice in a lifetime.
Yeah, even a blind squirrel will find an acorn once in a while, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So fishing, St. Patrick's Day. So here is my picture of St. Patrick's Cathedral on our trip to Dublin, Ireland. I didn't go inside. It ended up being a really short trip. We lost a day to weather, which can happen to all of us. So I only had one day on the ground from 6 a.m. and then one full day. So by the time I got to St. Patrick's Cathedral, it had closed, but it's even beautiful from the outside. And I'm sure many of you have been inside.
Yeah, well, it looks like a very big church.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen pictures of the inside and it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Neat.
Okay.
Well, it's a fun place to be. Well, look at that. That's interesting. It's the same place on both sides, right? Or close to it.
So one of our favorites, John Scully, he took the one on the left on Friday and the one on the right on Saturday.
Wow, look at the difference.
And on the left, the temperature is in the 70s, and on the right, it's in the 30s.
Yeah. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? That's typical Michigan, where the weather like that can change. We had places that Sunday afternoon were 35 degrees colder than they were 24 hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm. But you said the worst of it is over, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think. I mean, we average 2 inches of snow in April.
Mm-hmm.
So
and I said I wasn't going to come back to Michigan until May, but I was actually there last month to get your camera working for this. So we don't keep our promises.
Yeah, very nice. Right.
All right. Well, that's all I've got.
All right. Well, hey, take one more last look at my green tie. There we go. Have a good one.